Hey guys, it's Billy coming at you from RiverBend Records here in Godfrey, Illinois, in the greater St. Louis Metro East area. Today, I kind of want to talk about online sales feedback and how good are you? Basically, how do you respond to feedback as a both as a buyer and a seller? I'm talking like Discogs, eBay, things like that. Obviously, there's various different selling platforms. TikTok Shop, Instagram, Amazon, eBay. But like I said, I'm more concerned with eBay and Discogs being a record seller. I'm interested in both hearing from both buyers as well as sellers in the comments here. Sellers, just I want to see how you handle feedback and why. Why does it work for you? But I'm really in this video. I'm really directing this towards the online buyers, just because as a seller, I've noticed another kind of trend over the last handful of years since I've been selling online. I started selling, a little bit of background, I started selling online in 1999 on eBay. Sports cards, memorabilia, things like that. Did that for a handful of years while I managed a sports card store. But that's neither here nor there. But anyway, I have it's just a little bit of background to show that I've been selling online for quite some time. But one thing I've noticed is, as of late, is a much higher percentage of buyers are not leaving feedback at all, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. And I think that's a disservice to everyone, especially to the seller. But I get it, as a seller, my standpoint is, as a seller, when you pay, I leave feedback immediately. As soon as payment comes through, and I try and get things packaged up and shipped within 24 hours. But as soon as that payment comes through, I figure you as a buyer has done your job, and there's no need in hanging that feedback over your head. Go ahead, you've done your job, you've paid for the product. I am going to leave you positive feedback because I feel that you have earned that positive feedback. I know a lot of sellers don't feel that way. Even some sellers have it in their seller description or their seller policies that we do not leave, our policy or our practices, we do not leave feedback unless feedback has been left, positive feedback has been left for us. See, and I feel that's sort of blackmail, holding that positive feedback that seller rightfully earned over their head. I would never do that. I know there are some sellers that do that. Hopefully a lot more of them are realizing it's a shady practice. But like I said, there's always going to be those people who are doing things right and those people who are doing things wrong or just indifferent. It might just be something that is a total slip of the mind from a buyer's perspective. Once you get something, you feel like the job's done. But I feel like that seller, as a seller on Discogs and on eBay and even through our website or whatever, I feel that that is our reputation. Since we're selling to a worldwide audience, that first impression is people automatically go and look at that feedback. And if the feedback is high, it usually tells us this is a reputable seller. They've been around quite some time. They know what they're doing. They package well. They're so many different things you can check off of that checklist just based on a seller's feedback, positive and negative. Real simple to get those details out of that. And with that being said, I want to make sure that as a buyer, I follow those practices. I won't buy from anybody that's got a handful of negative and neutral feedbacks. It's, not even just a handful, but you can see a trend. You click on the feedback details, and you'll see everybody has bad days. Certain people get blamed for the postal services mix-up. I can do my job perfectly and still ship a record out, and it still end up getting damaged. And some buyers will put that on the seller, which is another point I would like to make. If you have an issue with an online, as a buyer, if you have an issue with an online transaction, I highly recommend you do what I feel is the right thing, and that's at minimum reach out to the buyer let them know there's an issue. So many things can be worked out through a simple conversation, simple communication via email, via text. If you've got their phone number, give them a call. I cannot tell you how many times I've been able, luckily, I'd say an overwhelming majority, like in the high 90th percentile, 98, 99% of all orders that we ship out here have zero problems, knock on wood. Zero problems, but the ones that have a little bit of a hiccup, whether it be a little damage caused by the delivery service or a confusion, a record could have accidentally been shipped. The wrong record may have been shipped. Who knows? But simply reaching out and letting that buyer know that there's an issue, it goes a long way. Too many people feel like if they are going to leave feedback, they're just going to hammer a negative feedback, kind of the I'll teach them mentality, but nothing really good comes out of that. It's just like going into a confrontation at a store. You go in to return something and their hands are tied and you just sit there and make a complete ass of yourself at the counter, hollering and shouting at the top of your lungs. It usually doesn't do any good. But getting back to the feedback thing, I've talked with some sellers who refuse to leave feedback. Like I said, it just doesn't make sense for me, and that's not my policy. Never has been my policy, never will be my policy. My policy is, like I told you earlier, if you buy something from me, you're going to get that positive feedback left. And like I said, I feel that you've earned it. Now, we do keep track of when things have been shipped. We'll get notifications and whatnot, and I will then go back and see a few days after if feedback has been left, positive feedback. If it hasn't, after a certain amount of time, we do go through and send little reminders. Hey, we noticed that your item has been delivered. We hope everything arrived as it should. Positive feedback has been left for you, and we would appreciate if you could take a few moments to do the same. Real simple, real easy. But I feel like, I have to do that a little bit more often than I feel like I should. As a buyer, just kind of sending this out there, trying to get you guys to, if you are a buyer, maybe just get in a better habit of leaving that positive, neutral or negative feedback if it is deserved. If it is justified and deserved, I think you shouldn't be afraid to leave a negative feedback, whether it be from a seller's standpoint or from a viewer's standpoint. But I really want to know what you guys think. Let's talk in the comments. Like I said, not only if you're an active online buyer, but an active online seller as well. Let me know. Let me know what works for you, what hasn't worked for you. Maybe some of your experiences in the past. Love to hear from you guys. If you're not doing so already, give this a like, comment, sub. That would all benefit us greatly and help the channel grow. Also in the comments down below, the video description, I've got all of our social media links down there. If you're not already doing so, please, we'd appreciate it if you could give us a follow on Facebook, Insta. All of our social information's down below. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you later. Take care.